because the Rothschilds control them. The new Prime Minister of Britain, David Cameron, Rothschild Zionist. This guy, Tony Blair, was completely controlled by them, as Bush was, which is why they moved as one unit to do what the Rothschilds wanted, which was invade Iraq and Afghanistan. And then you get people like the magnificent Norman Finkelstein, who's a Jewish man who's had his academic career destroyed for speaking out. His parents suffered in the concentration camps of Nazi Germany, and when he exposes these frauds and fakes in the Rothschild Zionist movement and what they do against Jewish people in general, he's called a self-hater. They can't say he's anti-Semitic, although sometimes they even use that. He's a self-hater. This man, magnificent Israeli, called Mordecai Vanunu, went to jail for 18 years for revealing the truth that Israel is a nuclear power. He's still got massive restrictions on his movement and what he can say. And you know, and he announced officially that he was continuing it. There is an official policy that on Israel's nuclear weaponry, America doesn't ask and Israel doesn't say. That's an official policy. Iran hasn't even got it yet, and they want to invade the bloody place.
The Iranian threat must be stopped by all possible means. International economic and political sanctions on Iran, as crucial as they may be, are only an initial step and must be dramatically increased. Leave no doubt as to the urgent need for more drastic and robust measures. Israel will not tolerate the possibility of a nuclear Iran, and neither should any other country in the free world.
You have applauded UN sanctions and sanctions adopted by the United States and Europe against Iran.
I hope that other nations and other leaders follow the U.S. and President Obama's lead and target hard sanctions primarily against Iran's energy sector. This regime basically lives off oil and cannot do without the import of gasoline. Iran is a very brutal regime. It brutalizes its own people. It sponsors terrorism left and right against my own country, against others, and it calls for the destruction of the Jewish state. I think it should not be allowed to have nuclear weapons.
A common message to the Iranians that it's their behavior, kind of trying to clandestinely develop a nuclear weapon, or using the guise of a civilian nuclear weapon program to get the know-how to develop a nuclear weapon, is unacceptable.
I think it is wholly unacceptable for Iran to have nuclear weapons capability. I think we've got to be prepared to confront them, if necessary militarily. I think there is no alternative to that.
The United States, the United Kingdom, and France presented detailed evidence to the IAEA demonstrating that the Islamic Republic of Iran has been building a covert uranium enrichment facility near Qom for several years. Iran is refusing to live up to those international responsibilities, including specifically revealing all nuclear-related activities.
The world does not want and must work together to avoid a nuclear Iran.
Iranians are trying to not just mock, but deny a Holocaust while simultaneously preparing to launch another. The president of Iran is talking about genocide, wiping Israel and, frankly, the United States off the map.
You might like to know what the Bible has to say about Israel in the last days. Is this the beginning of Ezekiel 38? We don't know, but it's getting close.
As a Jew, I feel much more threatened by people like Jimmy Carter when Israel is facing genocidal enemies who have sworn to destroy it and kill the Jews.
Ahmadinejad is the new Hitler. Too many Americans, and particularly on the left, don't see that. They don't see the threat. Ahmadinejad is saying to people in Iran that the end of the world is rapidly approaching and that it's his mission to bring it about by destroying Israel.
Another one said, I want to destroy the Jews of the world. And another one said, only when no Jews are living, the world will be better. We know that the Shoah came. take Ahmadinejad very seriously.
Israel might be wiped off the map.
He says Israel should be wiped off the map.
Wiped off the map.
Eliminate Israel from the face of the earth.
Wiped off the map.
Wipe Israel off the map.
Wiped off the map.
Wiped off the map. Destruction of Israel.
Israel should be wiped off the map.
Are we going to have to wait until there's a mushroom cloud over Jerusalem?
Nearly half of the U.S. believes we will eventually have to take military action against Iran, according to our new Fox poll.
I'd love to think there's something to negotiate with Iran about, but you have a president there who his sworn aim is to wipe Israel off the face of the map and kill every Jew in the Middle East.
The regime in Iran is very aggressive indeed, and have made, they may not mean it, and we don't know, but you've got to take them at their word. If they say, if the leader of Iran says he wants to wipe Israel off the face of the earth.
He didn't say that, and you know very well he didn't say that. He said he wanted Zionism to be wiped off the page of history, just like he said Nazism and communism. When you wanted to wipe out communism, you didn't want to wipe out Russia. You didn't want to wipe out the Russian people. This was a political statement.
But George,
it's all right in the news of the world, but this
George,
is the Oxford Union, Francis. Have a bit of intellectual rigor.
George, your record of...
Because of the propaganda, we equate Zionism with Jewish people. It's not how it is, to a very, very large extent. How many people know this? How many Jewish people around the world are protesting, have organizations created to protest against Zionism? Zionism and Judaism are diametrically opposed. Zionism is state-organized terror. How many times do we see this in the newspapers? Never. End of Zionism equals peace. Israel, stop killing Palestinians. I am Jewish and I want that. Why don't we hear about this? We condemn any Zionist aggression against Iran. I thought every Jewish person in the world wanted to bomb Iran. That's what the media seem to give us an indication about. Another Jew against Zionism. Over and over. Zionist spokesmen do not represent world Jewry. How many people... I thought Ahmadinejad of Iran is supposed to be the great demon of all Jewish people. Look at it. The demonization comes from Rothschild Zionism. And to shut people up, the Rothschilds have created organizations like the Anti-Defamation League. They haven't sent me a bloody Christmas card for years, these people. I don't want to upset them or what. But I'm speaking in New York in October. That could be funny. Anyway, they set these organizations up to target those people who are saying the sort of things that I'm saying. The idea is to throw you're a racist at people, so to shut them up or to discredit them. Like I say, I don't give a shit. You throw it, son, and I'll hit the bugger back.